Hi guys, it's Luetin here, and we're back for a breakdown of a game on Rush Alborz Mountains. Now this was part of the weekend where I played DLC rounds with people, and if you ever want to play on my server, if you want to check it out, just search for Luetin in the PS3 server browser. You'll be able to find it easily, and the only main rules that I stick to on my server are people need to play the objective, and they need to play in the spirit of sportsmanship, which means no kind of unnecessary just dicking around and trolling crap. We don't want that. We want straight up good gameplay, because that's pretty much what everyone's looking for, really. So anyway, we're on to this round. Now, a lot of people often go, oh my god, armored kill. It's true, okay, you can have some rounds which are awful when it comes to armored kill. However, you can also have some very good rounds, and a lot of it really does just depend on your team play. I think what it often comes down to is that a bad round on armored kill is worse than most, you know, but if you have a good round on armored kill, it can be really, really good. And it does seem to be the case that a lot of the time the attackers, they are the ones that have a huge advantage, as we know from the AC-130. But also don't forget that the changes that have been made to armored kill, so you only get that AC-130 when an MCOM is down, alright? So we know when the AC-130 is going to be arriving, so you can prepare for it, you can be prepared to put it down. Now you see they get a gunship initially, alright, but once it's been taken out here, then you know you're back to the MCOM situation. They won't get one until an MCOM has been taken down. Now, I also said to my guys at the start, we were all communicating as a team, alright? Public game, but when people come to my server, they generally know they're looking to communicate, for the most part anyway. So we were sort of saying that gunship, it's got to stay down, it's got to stay down, but I was very aware at the beginning. You saw me there, we were trying to work on that Amtrac, because the Amtrac on armored kill, it tends to be, again, worse than in many situations. Don't know why I left it so late to start firing there. I remember thinking that in the game as well. I was like, why didn't I just open up on that guy? I probably could have taken him down. Anyway, regardless. So at the moment, this first base, it's tending to be a little bit typical. They're sweeping around all over the place. It's a bit chaotic. We're losing control of the situation, and the gunship is still up. The gunship has been up pretty much since the start of the round, and we were talking about this in game. I was saying, come on guys, we're never going to be able to control this game if we don't keep that gunship down. I went anti-armor to begin with at the start of the game. I made it clear, and everyone else as well. You know, so people were talking about their roles. I did have some guys who were like, yeah, we'll take down the gunship. But as you can see, it just didn't happen fast enough. It didn't go down quickly enough, and we're suffering as a result. We're really getting pounded by the AC-130. We are managing to just about hold on to the MCOMs here, but it starts to really slip out of control. You can also see right now we actually have 2 more players than the other team, and yet we're still getting dominated. I think they just had 1 more person drop in right there. Just a small note that I have mentioned before as well. People often say, oh come on, you've got to balance the teams more, you've got to balance the teams and blah blah blah. As a server admin, it's very difficult to constantly balance teams, because what will happen is you'll get 1 or 2 people drop out. You'll get some people that in a certain game will decide to play a different way that doesn't necessarily benefit their team, so it can be really hard to move people around. And as I said on a recent video, when you're trying to admin a server, you don't really want to move a lot of people around in one go. You want to sort of see how 1 or 2 games play out, and then if it's not going one team's way, you might want to move 1 or 2 people or so on, something like that. Again, I'm getting caught out here, but I'm trying to push forward, and I'm trying to take the fight onto them, having a bit of an unlucky start to this round, but you'll see how things kind of pan out as we go along. Now the other thing to note is that I changed up to the Igla, because I really felt that gunship was just not going down quickly enough, and it tends to be that on armored kill this is what I do. I end up going Igla, and I end up staying on the AC-130 all the time. I won't be able to get a lock on him right now, it's too far away, so that's why I'm moving around here and trying to get a lock on. Now, I was saying to the guys in this game, I said, come on, we can see what happened in that first round, and this is something else that I mentioned ages ago. Is I said that you know, you should always learn from the first base, a bit of first base philosophy. You want to see how that first base went down, how aggressive were they using the vehicles. Now look how quickly that went down. That was from me and another player and the jet, all focusing on getting that AC-130 down. It went down in, I don't know, 15-20 seconds, and now that AC-130 is out of the way, we can focus on keeping the rest of the base clear. Now I was really, I think you've probably seen my mic moving a lot right now. I was saying to my guys, I was like, come on guys, we've got to keep them out of the base, we need to push forward. And you can see this guy here being very proactive, and I'm getting right on that, getting ready for the disarm. They've got a tank sitting on our base, and I was saying, come on guys, you've got to clear this out, you've got to get the tank out of the base. You just can't keep these things in here, you have to clear it out. And it's all about timing and speed. Battlefield more and more, you know, it's about timing, it's about speed always, and it's something that people are really not good at in the game. But it's so key to gameplay, it's so key to how a game goes down, is the timing and the speed in which you react to things. Because if you allow a tank or vehicle or an Amtrak to sit in your base to drive around for any significant length of time, it will devastate your team. Now I did spot this guy up, look, but I'm getting a combination of attacks here from 2 different directions, so I'm not really able to put that down, but I did luckily manage to get a spot on him. And again, remember, spotting is key, because in that situation there, you see that guy comes in, finishes him off and all the rest of it. Now, you know, even though I got taken out by that guy, I was aware to mark him and communicate it to my team. Now they've come in and they've taken A and we're down onto B here, and you're thinking, wow, you know, we haven't really learned anything, we haven't really progressed forward in any kind of positive way than we did from the last base. But it's often a bit of a wake-up call when you lose like a first MCOM. People realise, like, especially within that sort of speed, people kind of realise, wow, things are getting out of control. And, you know, you really think that looking at the situation right now, this is a game that's not going to be turned around. But I think it's a good point that in many games of dire situations, and I have a good one of Metro coming up as well, you can see as well, look, that gunship's back up now because they've got the MCOM. So we're really taking a beating here. But the key is to kind of stick with it, to keep fighting as hard as you possibly can, get yourself onto that MCOM, get that MCOM disarmed, prioritize. Okay, now that we've got that down, my priority is going to be to take out the AC-130. Obviously we still have people around in the base, but if I don't take that AC-130 out, they're going to be dominating, they're going to be pushing into our area. And you can see it's not just me, we've got 2 guys focused firing this down, and again I'm pretty sure he's going to be going down very quickly. Again, so we've taken that target out, now we can focus on keeping the rest of the base clear. We've got the pilots or gunners, whatever, power dropping down, so we want to take these guys out as they come in. And now we're going to get ourselves back onto the line. Now it's been armed, and that's, you know, possibly to be expected because of all the combat we've been having there. Alright, the time that we've taken to get onto the AC-130. Now look, some guys going for the disarm. I don't need to be disarming if there's other people disarming it already. I was in an unbelievably frustrating situation recently. I can't remember exactly what game it was on, but it's just very standard situation right here. Now look, I've got my Igla, I don't have anything else, so I'm dropping a couple of mines behind that Amtrak because he's probably going to roll back, and there we go, I get a vehicle disabled from dropping those mines right behind him. So right now we're working to clear the base, and we were talking about this, so I was saying to the guys, come on, we've got to clear this out, move around, mark your targets, move the area, alright? Because look at them, they're all over our base right here, they're all over the base. We're working really hard to kind of clear this area out, because once you've had a kind of unstable situation, I'm checking the MCOM, making sure it's clear before I continue clearing the area, right? So I'm kind of keeping half a mind that the MCOM is still back there, I need to, you know, focus on that. But we're working hard to clear these guys out right here, we're not doing too bad a job. So once we've got this area clear, now you can see how things have calmed down a little bit, okay? We've cleared this out, we've still got these guys coming in here, but they've slowed down. We've knocked that momentum, okay? Momentum, something that I've talked about so many times. And again, I was communicating sniper on the left hand side coming up, so people know that he's there and they're kind of aware to kind of look in that direction. Now the 2 main things that we need to do at this point, okay? Take down their vehicles hard. And this was something we were saying. You can see we have a huge amount of mines and C4 all over this area right now. But their vehicles are really going to be the main difficulty that we have now. They have a huge amount of vehicles that they can throw at us. They've got tank destroyers, Amtraks, quads, everything you want. So taking those things down in quick succession is really going to be the key for us in this game. We do have the frogfoot on our side, which is a really big plus. I was trying to hit this guy here, but I couldn't get my barrel down enough to be able to get on him. Same with this actually. Just at slightly the wrong height. End up taking down the oh, did I actually take that guy out? But anyway, so yeah, that's really the thing, is taking back control. All right, when you're defending, you can often be in a situation where you feel like you're being overrun, but by prioritizing targets as a team and quickly eliminating an area, that's really what's going to bring the game back into control for you. And once a game is back in control like it is right now, you can really work on working as a team, focus fire on these targets. And this was another thing we were saying, okay, when you have the vehicles up and stuff like that, you see this guy coming in here on the left and my team up in general, right? When vehicles come in, you want to focus fire them down. You want 2-3 people firing these RPGs. If you fire a few RPGs at a tank in fast succession, it's going to be going down very quick. You can see as soon as this guy came into close range of my guys, a couple of people hit it, I finished it off, alright, so that thing's down and we can work on our next target. So we're really, and again the spotting, you spot at distance like that with the vehicles and people know what's coming in, they can prepare for it. And we're getting a little bit overrun here, I'm getting hit from a few different directions. I've got people on this island here firing, look there's 3-4 guys here, and the Amtrak and the tank destroyers, so we're really taking a beating. There's no way I was going to be jumping out of that tank right there and having one of these guys that's right in front of me. Look, they're repairing that vehicle right there. I'm not going to be jumping out that tank and giving them a free tank, no way. So now look at the map here, okay, we've got guys all over the left, the right and the middle. They're trying to push, they're trying to attack us from all different directions, but we've got a strong defense now because we took that momentum away from them. Okay, they didn't have their gunship anymore, we've taken down their vehicles as they've come in, which means they've got a long distance to travel, which means that gives us plenty of time to spot, to react, to balance our team and react to that situation. And the 1, 2, 3 attempts that they kind of really had to push up here, look at how that's affected their tickets. They've taken a lot of ticket damage from trying to push up all those different times. So this was a really good game because so very often people say that Armored Kill is just unwinnable. Alright, whenever people, especially when I put Armored Kill on my playlist, people just say it's unwinnable, you cannot defend it. I think unfortunately there are a lot of times when defenders in general now just are not very good. People are not particularly good at defending because they often panic when they have that whole kind of momentum situation like we did at the start of this second base. Things kind of get out of control, they don't really know how to react and they just like, oh my god, there's enemy everywhere, I don't know what to do. Look at this guy right here. Yeah. It's never a good idea to teabag someone who kills you multiple times, because in the evening when I played with this guy, I think there was a round I took him out like 6 times in a row. I'm not quite sure why you would teabag someone who can, you know, take you out that badly. But anyway, that's the kind of stuff that happens on my server. Anyway, so yeah, look at the amount of tank mines and stuff. There's no way they're parking a tank right here. And again, the time as well, as an attacker, that if you leave too long between attacking and pushing onto a base, you lose your momentum so badly, there's no way you're getting into it. We've got such a strong defense around this base, unless they literally throw everything they have at us, they're not going to get it. And they do really try and make an effort to do that, because that often happens, as I say, in the last 10 tickets you get a huge amount of people, they throw everything at the base just in the last ditch attempt. That'll often work unless you have a really cohesive defensive team and, you know, people that are really aware of it. But it's just, you want to be prepared for it, you know, you want to be ready for that 10 ticket push right at the end. But as I say as well, yeah, people defending in general, it's not such a good thing. I've got a good example on Metro. It's the typical second base Metro, but unlike some of the other rounds, it doesn't get locked down so well. They break through, but I want to show in another video soon how we clear that area up and we push back. That's often key to defending, is the distance and where you position yourself. You don't just want to clear the base and then sit back. You want to clear the base and move forward. You want to position yourself in a good position so you can clear out those enemies, buffer them, stop them getting into the base. Okay guys, so I've got plenty more videos coming up. As you can tell, my voice is nowhere near perfect yet. I'm still suffering from this very, very bad throat and this kind of illness that I've had for the last 2 weeks now. It's kind of miserable, I'm getting quite sick of it, to be honest. It's making it very, very difficult for me as a producer to make videos, because my voice is just not there and it's really bad for me talking. So I hope you'll bear with me and be patient. I've got so many videos. I also have a bit of an exclusive thing coming up this weekend. People might know that I went down to the EA studios in London this week, so I've got a little thing coming up later on this week, so you'll see what that is. And I hope you've enjoyed this one, guys. Please, as always, like, share if you enjoyed the video, and I look forward to your comments as always. Got a lot of Battlefield stuff coming up soon. I've had loads of ideas. The time that I've been ill, I've spent writing down things and coming up with ideas of videos I want to make, so much more stuff to come on the way. And don't worry, once my voice is sorted out, I'll be back on form, no problem. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you next time.